Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we're getting ready. We're applying this makeup look from start to finish. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to come film today. I didn't really have an agenda. I did want to grab products in my makeup drawer that used to be favorites that I haven't played with in a while. So there were a couple of them in this video, like the Clinique Stay Matte Oil-Free Makeup. I remember loving this foundation. I loved how lightweight it was. It was oil-free. It stayed natural and matte looking all day, and it didn't feel heavy. So I applied this in today's video. Also the Honest Beauty liquid lipsticks. I remember loving these, and I hadn't played with these in a while. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just getting ready, chatting, catching up. So I think that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start by priming my skin, and I'm using the Infallible Matte Lock Primer. This is one of my favorite drugstore primers, especially during the summer, because it really does a great job of mattifying the skin and keeping it from producing oil, getting shiny. It keeps your makeup on all day. It's kind of exactly what I need this time of year. I'm gonna put this all over really the center of my face where I produce the most oil. And for my foundation, I grabbed an oldie but a goodie. I used to love this foundation. I don't remember the last time I wore it. It's the Clinique Stay Matte Oil-Free Makeup. I like this foundation because it's very lightweight and it gives good coverage. It also has more of like a natural matte finish. It doesn't feel too heavy on the skin at all. It's really nice. So I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush to apply this. And I just start by kind of picking up a little bit of product on the tip of the brush, and then I'll go in and I'll start in the center of my face to apply that. Now this brush is designed so the tip of the brush has longer, looser fibers, so you can really kind of like shear it out. This brush is great if you're someone that likes to use kind of swiping motions with your foundation. Using the tip of the brush is really gonna help shear it out. When you're trying to build more coverage, you'll kind of use the base of the brush and really just press it in. So I'm gonna start by building coverage in the center of the face, and then I will go out and blend it to the perimeter of the face. Perfect. And I am gonna build a little bit here in this center of my face. My nose has been real red lately. I think it's because I've been spending a lot of time outside and I've got a little bit of pinkness to the skin. Perfect. I've been all about using as little foundation as possible since it's starting to get really hot in Texas. We're starting to have 100-degree days, and it is like brutal, especially when you have a lot of makeup on. Honestly, I'm not really wearing a lot of makeup if I'm not filming. If it's a day that I'm not filming, I'm keeping it down to like my Elta MD tinted sunscreen and some concealer, and not really putting any foundation on if I'm not filming or going somewhere, which not really going a lot of places. We have slowly started to, well, I shouldn't say we, the girls haven't really been anywhere in public since school. They got out of school before spring break. They have been seeing their cousins, but they really haven't been, and then of course going outside and stuff, but they haven't been to any grocery stores or any camps or anything like that. We've really kept them home. I obviously am going to the grocery store. I went and got my lashes done. I'm slowly starting to get, get out with caution, obviously. Texas is, I don't think that they're requiring people in Texas to wear masks. Well, I'm wearing a mask everywhere I go, our family is, but I don't think that it's a requirement. I think businesses can enforce it. I went and got my hair done this weekend, and they were like super safe. They're only allowing like half of their staff to work at a time. And then when you get there, you can't even go inside and wait. You have to wait in your car for them to call you in. As soon as you walk in, they check your temperature. They make you use hand sanitizer. You have to have a mask on at all times. And then they're just doing like services, but they're not doing any blow drying. They're just like cutting or coloring, and then you're out to the door with wet hair. But that's okay. I really appreciate how safe they're being with things. Okay, for concealer, I'm using the Fenty Beauty, and I'm using the shade 230. I like this concealer. It's more on the fuller coverage side and more of a matte finish, but I find that it doesn't like look dry or heavy. And this color is brighter, so it's definitely gonna highlight under the eye. I'm gonna just kind of press this in. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the tip of this sponge, this is the BK Beauty sponge, and I'm just gonna blend in that inner corner and take whatever's left onto the eyelid. Perfect, okay, and I'm really gonna go back and press just to make sure I don't have too much concealer left I really want to make sure that it's just absorbed any excess that I have. Okay, when I'm using a beauty sponge for concealer, I go ahead and I just kind of bounce it all over the face. This is just going to give an extra a little bit more insurance that your foundation, you didn't apply too much foundation, which I'm pretty certain I didn't, but you never know. Okay, next I'm going to go and set the face, and for that I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics Pores No More. Is that what it is? No, it's called Bye Bye Pores powder. I love this powder. It's a great lightweight mattifying powder that really does blur pores and texture in the skin. It's kind of magic. Now I'm just going to use a tiny bit. I always get way too much when I dip it in, so I'm going to go back onto the lid and I'm going to kind of tap it out. I like to use my hand to tap it. You don't want to damage the ferrule with dense if you tap it on like a actual product. And I'm just lightly going to set the center of my face is where I start. Might grab a little bit more and set the forehead. Okay, perfect. All right, and then why not? I'm just gonna run my finger underneath there to make sure there's no excess concealer. All right, then we're gonna go and bronze up the skin, and I'm super excited because I'm using the new NARS bronzer. I got a beautiful PR package that I will share in another video soon. And apparently they repackaged and they launched a few new shades to the bronzer collection. So it's all of NARS's like favorite shades, but then I think they reformulated so the texture is a little bit different, and then they launched some new shades. So I'm using the shade Laguna, and I guess I'll use the 104 brush. I wanted to use the 103, but I don't have it. So I'm just gonna load up the tip. This is the same brush that I used for my powder. And I'm gonna kind of dust it back. Oh, this is a nice shade. This looks like a summer tan. It's warm, but it's not too orangey or too red. I'm just kind of going in little circles and blending into the hairline. I am gonna bring a bit of it on my nose. And then I'm gonna take it and put on my forehead. This brush is a little bigger than I would normally like to put on my forehead, but it does apply products pretty sheerly. And if you feel like you applied too much, like I think I just did, you can always just go back and it'll blend out and sheer out real nicely. Okay, there you go. So that gives a really nice kind of natural sun-kissed look. That concealer is really brightening up under the eye, but once we have all the eye makeup on, I think it'll really be pulled together and look a little more natural. So for brows, I'm going to fill them in with my NYX Precision Brow Pencil. Okay. I'm overdue for a microblading appointment, but the girl who does my microblading doesn't live here anymore. She moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so I know she actually was coming to Austin to see old clients because I think she's still kind of building her business there. But with everything that's going on with COVID, I don't know if she's still planning on coming. Probably not, would be my guess. Perfect, okay. And I always do this after I fill my brows in. If you've been watching my videos, you know this, but I always put a brow gel in. I like a brow gel because even though I don't really need any more filling in, I've already done that with a pencil. I like the brow gel because it just keeps the hairs in place. It kind of works like hairspray for your eyebrows. And then this one adds a little bit of volume to the brows, which I really need because my brows, I don't know how I got such thin brows and lashes. My natural lashes are so short and thin, but then I got all this hair. But as my brow lady said, she's like, you can't have it all, Lisa. You get one or the other. So I guess that's so. Okay, so for eye makeup, eyelids, I was gonna say eyelids. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my lids with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. And I'm gonna do a very sheer little layer of this. I don't need much. And I'm actually gonna use a brush to blend this in just because I have these extensions. It's harder to do with my finger. They kind of get in the way. So I'm just gonna take an eyeshadow brush. You really can use any brush to do this. I'm just gonna sheer it out and blend it all over the eyelid. You wanna make sure when you're using an eyeshadow primer that you don't just concentrate it right on the lid, that you pull it up, because what happens is it creates a little bit of a stickier layer on the lid. So when you're going in with shadow, everything that's on the lid will adhere quicker or darker. It'll be a little darker. So then it'll be hard to blend out the crease. So you really wanna make sure that you apply it all over. Okay, let me go ahead and zoom you guys in a little bit closer so you can see the eye makeup a little bit better. Okay, here we are. So I am gonna use this palette because I have been loving this palette the last few months. It's the Wander Beauty Wanderess Escape palette. It is just so beautiful. The quality of these shadows is really, really nice. You've got some really shimmery shades and then you've got some nice kind of creamy matte shades. It's just a beautiful palette. I'm gonna keep the look pretty neutral and simple and basic today. I find that with the extensions, my eye makeup can still look really glamorous with a softer application. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's called Nude Beach. It's really pretty. It's like this very, very soft, warm, peachy brown. So pretty. And I'm going to use a fluffy brush to apply this. And I'm gonna kind of apply it all over. I'm gonna start in my crease, but then I'm gonna bring it and drag it down to the eyelid. So I'm using the BK Beauty 201. Really, any crease brush of this shape will work just great. I also have this one. This is the Wayne Goss 16, which would be really nice. Just needing fluffy is really great. Okay, and so I'm gonna just start in the crease and go back and forth. And depending on your skin tone, this is gonna translate, you know, lighter or darker. If you're more fair, you can still pull this shade off. It's gonna be a little darker. If you are darker skin tone, there's a shade in here called Sunkissed, which I'm gonna use next. And I would actually use that one for this step of the makeup if I were darker skin. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of blend this and pull it all the way over here to the brow. So pretty. This is such a gorgeous shade. Just a really creamy, warm, peachy, neutral shade. So I haven't gone back to the nail salon yet, and I've got to say I'm pretty proud of my my at-home manicures. I bought some. I'll actually list the polishes that I have been using in quarantine down below. I bought them when the whole quarantine first started, and when I took my SNS off back in March, this is the only polish I've been wearing. And I get asked a lot on Instagram, what is that? What is that? So I'll share it. And I actually find that it lasts pretty well. It's 3 steps. I do a primer coat, a nail polish, and then I do a top coat. And it'll last me almost a full week. And I wash dishes in hot water. I try and wear gloves, but I don't wear them all the time. I kind of put my nails through the wringer and it actually holds up really well. So I just painted them right before this. So I feel like they look really nice and shiny. Okay, so now that I've got that applied all over the crease and then kind of dragged it into the lid, I'm gonna go in with the next shade, which is this shade right here. This is Sunkissed, and it's basically a more vibrant and deeper peach version of the shade we just applied. So I'm gonna take this shade and kind of go on over it, but I'm gonna use a slightly smaller brush that helps me control it because I don't wanna completely cover what I've done. I want you to still see a peek of this out, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna grab the, do I have my 202? Here's my 202. So I'm gonna grab my 202 brush. It's just a smaller crease brush. It's got a more tapered point, so you have more control where you apply it. It's still fluffy. It still blends everything out. And I'm gonna start here in the outer corner and I'm gonna get the side of the brush, load up the side and lay the side onto the lid. And we're just gonna blend that into the crease and over the lid. So nice. So I've only used 2 shades so far, both matte, kind of monochromatic, meaning that they're about the same tone, just a little variance in like dark and light. Okay, and then the next shade I'm gonna grab is this shade Enchanted, and it's this kind of like rosy, like light plum shade. And we're gonna put a little bit of that just in the corner, just to darken this the slightest bit. I'm gonna use the same brush that I just used, the 202. I'm just gonna load it up on the tip and come over here to add a little bit of plum over here. I find plum and like these peachy shades look so beautiful together. Do you see what that does? It's just, oh, it's so beautiful. I love that. Okay, and then the last shade that I'm gonna add is this shade right here. It's called Daydream, and it's this real shimmery kind of like, what would you call this? I would call this a light coppery gold shade, and we're gonna apply this just in the inner corner of the eye. And I'm using the BK Beauty 207 brush. It's like a pencil brush, but it's more, it's a little bit bigger and more dome shape. So I'm gonna grab that and apply it right in the inner corner, kind of pull it over a bit to kind of meet the other shadow. What I like about these shades, even though they're super shimmery, they're pretty shimmery and glittery. They're sheer in a sense that it looks like just like a sheer wash of shimmer on the eye. But you can build it if you want more color, which I'm doing right now. Perfect. All right, great, that's nice. All right, and then last, I'm gonna add my brow highlight color, and I'm gonna use the same brush. This brush, again, is fluffy enough that I can do that without it being too much, I think. And I'm actually gonna go into the Identity 2 palette just because the Wanderess doesn't have a great brow highlight. The only really light shade they have is super shimmery, and I don't want that underneath my brow. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's called Kind. And we're gonna apply that right underneath the brow to highlight the brow a bit. Perfect. And the last thing I like to do when I'm working with shadows, like of many different textures and shades, I'll take the crease brush and just go run it back in the crease without adding any color, just to blend everything out. So next I'm lining the inner rim of my eye, and I'm using the Wet n Wild Brow Highlighter Pencil. I like this because it has a little bit of a pink tone to it. It's not too stark white. I really like doing this. I like it when the pencil has a slight pink or peach tone to it and it's not too stark white. Okay, so next I'm going to kind of smoke out the lower lash line, and I'm going to use the palette again, and we're going to go into the shade Enchanted, which is that plum shade. We're going to go into that with the Smudge It brush. It's the 204 by BK Beauty, and I'm just going to rub that right underneath the lashes, and it's going to translate much more purple than it did on the lid because I don't have anything competing with it. I don't have those, you know, neutral shades underneath it, so it really pops and shows more pink. The great thing about this look, especially if you have blue or green eyes, is that purple and orange are complementary colors. Well, they're actually complementary colors to green. So I have green eyes, so both the lid and the lower lash line are working as complementary colors. I'm gonna apply a little mascara on my lower lashes. Just a little application so they match the lash extensions, okay? And then for cheeks, I'm gonna go in and use the e.l.f. Blush in the shade Mellow Mauve. And I'm gonna just go ahead and use the 104 brush to apply this. And there's a tiny little mirror in here I will use. I love this blush. It's probably my favorite drugstore blush of the moment. So nice. It's just like so soft and pretty and natural, and it has the slightest sheen, so it gives a little bit of highlight to the cheeks without being too shimmery. Oh, that's nice. Okay, for lips, I grabbed the Honest Beauty Off Duty Liquid Lipstick. So the name of the shade is Off Duty, and the formula, it's a liquid lipstick. And I don't really wear liquid lipsticks very much, but I thought I would mix it up here. So I do have a little bit of lip balm on my lips, which can interfere with the liquid lipstick, but I'm gonna kind of take it off with my finger. Okay, I feel like liquid lipsticks have come so far. Years ago when I tried my first liquid lipstick, I remember hating the formula because I felt like it dried and it showed every crack in my lips. It made cracks that weren't even there. It just felt tight. But now they have some really great formulas that are lightweight, that feel creamier, they have the staying power of a liquid lipstick, but they don't get super dry and feel uncomfortable on the lips. This is definitely one of them. I also feel like Persona Cosmetics has a great liquid lipstick formula. It's very similar to this. Okay, so now that this has had a little time to set, I want to give it a little bit of shine, and this might actually break down the liquid lipstick and cause it to lose its like long wear ability, but I want to try this out. So this is a product that was sent to me in the PR package from NARS. I don't know if this is a new product part of this collection or if it's just kind of a revamped product, but it is the oil infused lip tint in the shade Reef. Now, when this package came, I just opened it and I grabbed this and I put it on my lips without doing any like digging into what exactly it was. And I loved it. It had such a comfortable and beautiful texture to the lips. It felt so lightweight, gave a really high shine, but wasn't like any sticky, thick gloss that I've worn. And then I realized like, oh, okay, it's an oil-infused lip gloss. It's very, very sheer in color. This is it on my hand, super sheer. So this is really either a great product to apply over a lip color or a great product to wear when you want to hydrate the lips, but you don't really want the look of a lot of, you know, color on the lips. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in the center. Okay, kind of press together. And there you have it. All right, I will have to wear this around today and see how it actually affects the liquid lipsticks, because I know some liquid lipsticks, they say not to put a gloss on top of it because ingredients in the gloss can actually break it down and kind of cause it to wear funky. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So this is the finished look. I really like how it came out. It's a little more glamorous than I intended it to be, but sometimes that just happens. But I love this shade. I love like that peachy, bronzy shade mixed with the purple. I think that's probably my favorite combination of shadows to pair together. I really, really love it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Leave me all your questions, comments down in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.